Alrighty, guys. So today, what I'm wanting to talk to you guys about is just how, about maybe a little over 2 years ago, I really felt like nobody cared, man. Like I really felt like there wasn't a lot of people that cared about me and cared about anything that I was doing. Like it literally felt like I was alone. Like I was just trying to create this whole idea in my head of what I knew I could be, but that nobody else believed that I could be. And that like really tore me down instead of building me up. And so um, what I realized is until I became aware in who I was with this whole podcast thing and all that, like I just thought I was more like I just thought I was being very nice and polite by being interested in people. And I would ask a lot about people's like what are you doing, like what's going on, how are you doing this, or what are you up to. Be very energetic in the conversation, but people would just ask me like how I was, and I would say good, and that's it. They would never pry, or um, they would never ask further, even if like they could tell something was kind of off. And even to coincide with that, I would always I played basketball back in high school, and so when I was on these teams, I would play my heart out. I would be like a real good student of the game. I played from kindergarten all the way to senior year, and so like in that amount of time, I learned a lot. I was playing, and then eventually, I would get recruited to some teams that were just really good. That I kind of really wanted to be a part of because I saw that they were winning some championships. I just wanted to be kind of a part of that vibe. I had never won one before. And even to this day, like I've never won a championship because when I was on those teams, for some reason, even though they won championships before, when I was on them, they wouldn't. Like, is that me? Is that my fault? Like, why? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me is what I kept telling myself. And those negative self-inflictions eventually led me to like not wanting to eat because I didn't want to be a burden on somebody else's financial issue. Like I didn't want to be a burden on things that my fiance, or I couldn't get my daughter, so I would like not eat. And so I would not take care of myself. I would have these negative inflictions. I would have this negative self-talk saying, oh, you can't do that, like you're contributing to the problem. And then that would also turn into negative self-worth. Like I would literally tell myself that I wasn't anything, and I would believe it. And so that actually led me to really doubting every decision that I was ever trying to make. And it was insane because it really affected my ability to be confident in myself and believe in anything that could be possible. It was just really bad limited belief system. And the lack of like just overall awareness of my mental health caused for a lot of ingratitude in general. So I didn't even know how to really be grateful. And it gave me all of these negative self-inflictions, gave me a fixed mindset towards life. Like I said, it gave me a limited belief towards everything. It gave me tunnel vision through just seeing through my eyes. Like I wasn't able to see and have empathy and relate to other people's perspectives, which is insanely important if you want to expose yourself to something that's past a limiting belief. And then it just made me blame everybody else. Like instead of taking the right sense of accountability, I was attacking it with blame. Like I was attacking it like, oh, this person's not asking me this, like blah, 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 blah. And it was only contributing to my overall sense of fear that I had, that I even was able to do better things, like that I had a higher potential. And I think that that's something that we can all kind of relate to, is that fear of, okay, if I step into this higher self, am I really going to be able to do that? Like, am I really going to be able to step up and be that? And until you grow that confidence within yourself and get through these negative self-inflictions, you're always going to be talking to yourself poorly. Like you're always going to be doubting yourself. You're always going to be thinking that you're not worth anything. And that is where the problem starts to lie. And so like in my book, the way that I describe this is fear is the essence of the final boss, if you will. Like that is our Thanos for any of you Marvel fans out there. Like it's our ultimate thing to overcome. When we can see fear as opportunity for bliss, that's when we have reached that transcendence point and we can be in progression mode, because we will have developed gratitude, momentum, energy, empathy, and awareness of who we are and within our purpose. So basically, in order to do this, and oh yeah, so like with my book, fear is the ultimate boss. And what fear does is it throws all these negative things at us. It throws the 3 E's, ego, expectation, excuses. It throws these negative self-inflictions. It throws distraction at us. It throws comparison. It throws all these things to throw us off our game. And trick us into thinking that we need to conform to society. And if you do that, that's fine. But I just, me personally, it's one of those things, like, I can't live without knowing what I could have done. So if anybody else has ever felt like they're just a burden, like if anybody has ever felt like they're ungrateful because they've never been exposed to someone that is just like still in it, man, that is still grateful for every day that they can actually vibe with and actually watch on a day-to-day basis. And so here's the ultimate thing of what I want to get across. So if you're experiencing any of these negative self-inflictions, if you're experiencing negative self-talk, if you're experiencing negative self-doubt, if you're experiencing negative self-worth, and the way that you can tell those is by if you're asking yourself the things that I told you in the very beginning of this, which is like if you're blaming people for not asking more about you, and you want to be more in, you want to be like, you want people to take more interest in you, and you want to like almost punish yourself because you feel like you're part of the problem. If you feel like you're part of the problem, if you feel like nothing good is coming your way, like if you feel any of these, this is what helps me a lot. And so it's mindset cultivation. So there's a lot of studies out there that you can look up. I've literally YouTubed growth fixed mindsets, like to just try and figure out different ways to cultivate a growth and fixed mindset. And it is something that you can create. It's something that you can do with practice. If you just start seeing every single and I actually just talked about this in my latest podcast. If you guys tune into the PRA podcast on Spotify, it's literally talking about solution mentality. If you create a solution mentality within yourself, you start to see all the solutions and not the problems. When you can start to see the solutions, you become a problem solver, and the more, like, the better that you get at that, the more successful in life you'll become, the more momentum, because you're taking the right disciplines, the more momentum you'll start to cultivate. And so it takes me back to also perspective practice. So like, you need to practice yourself within perspective, and you need to know that there's other people out there with knowledge that you don't have in a different way. So when you can realize that, it can allow a sense of openness within you. So you can normalize a lot more. You can know that, this piece came from this person, this piece came from this person, but they both came from like somewhere that was way far than where I'm at. And there are people out there that are going to inspire you and keep you in spirit enough to realize that, like, look, they came from way worse than where I'm at, and look at them now. And it really puts a right perspective in, and then also you get to see how much less people have from you, because the fact of the matter is, like, even if you don't think you have an abundant life, you do. So like, if you can tap into seeing like what other worlds are out there and seeing what other parts of life are, it opens your mind up to different perspectives, which can ultimately open your sense of gratitude. And then taking the right accountability, not blaming things, not just saying like, it's my fault, it's me, it's blah, blah, blah. Like, don't blame yourself. Take responsibility for where you're at. Like, take responsibility for the position you're in. Don't blame yourself for the position you're in, because then you're just fueling the pity within yourself. Like, when you change that sense into responsibility, that's when you're taking accountability and you're taking proactive like choices, like you're taking a proactive movement forward. And when we can start moving forward, that creates momentum. And so, yes, guys, so that brings the end of the mental health and gratitude section. So if you guys are lacking gratitude and you guys are not familiar with just like what to look up for as far as mental health, look at the accountability of what you're doing. Look at the perspective of who you have opened your world up to, and then look at the mindset cultivation that you have, and see how many problems you see versus how many solutions you see. And yeah, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is, I know it's quick, but it's a lot to get through in a little bit. But yes, this is like the first beginning of all of it. So the next video will be going over mindset and just more in depth with that. So yeah, guys, I hope to see you guys. I'm trying to make these 10 minutes max, but if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a comment, or please share, or please just get at me. Let me know if you guys took any value from it. And don't forget to tune in to the podcast every Monday, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Good vibes. And don't forget to follow me on at @SMartinezIV, PRA Network Facebook page. Good vibes, guys. I will talk to you on, well, soon, the next time. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week. So good vibes and good luck.